Hello and welcome to another episode of Miracle Monday. I am your host, Amanda Ranae, and today we're going to talk about an amazing miracle that probably has something to do with you. And it is a story about a woman whose anxiety vanished into thin air. And the thing that you need to know about any state of being that you're used to experiencing, anything that is been going on for a really long time in your world, is typically when it goes away, it's actually quite a strange experience. So I'm going to tell you about this woman and how she experienced her anxiety completely vanishing into thin air after years and years of it absolutely crippling her. And hopefully you get a nugget out of this for yourself and maybe even open up the potential for a miracle of your own. So this woman came to me from the South, from my home state of Texas, and when she first came to me, she reached out because she had had this deafening anxiety going on for the past couple of years, so much so that it was stopping everything in her world from moving forward. Jobs weren't working out, living situations weren't working out, relationships weren't happening, and all of this was because of this deafening anxiety. And the reason this is such an important miracle to share is because anxiety is something that a lot of people experience today. A lot of people, maybe you watching this right now, experience a level of anxiety that is far above just the normal stresses of life and actually prohibits you from living the life you're supposed to live and having the things you're supposed to have in this life, like joy, peace, love, relationships, laughter, abundance, service. All of the things that you're really meant for get stifled when this level of anxiety is present. So if that's you, then listen up, because there's a miracle here for you too. So she reaches out to me really with her last shred of hope, because if something's been going on for a long time, it actually gets harder and harder to take a chance on things potentially being different. Even when you're presented with something that has worked for person after person before you, if you have experienced some state of being stuck for you for long enough, then eventually the voice of doubt gets much louder than that still small whisper of hope that something could be different for you. And so this woman chose to listen to that small whisper that maybe things could be different. And after having a friend tell her about the miracle she had experienced with me, this woman reached out. She brought her cynicism with her, she brought her skepticism with her, and she also brought her little kernel of faith that maybe things could change. And a couple weeks into our work together, she goes, "I'm having this really strange experience. Almost like there's this emptiness or this silence happening in my world." And we got to talk about it a little bit more, and what she realized is that emptiness was in place of where the anxiety had been before. So even though we think it's going to be this big thing when something finally shifts in our world, what actually happens is it feels kind of weird, because that anxiety had become her friend. It had become her confidant. It had become the thing that kept her company. And so when it was gone, there was kind of an emptiness in its place. And it didn't feel bad. She said it actually felt really good, but it took her a while to realize that that's what had happened, because she went from having this deafening anxiety to having it just be completely still and silent. And it was the first time in years that she hadn't had anxiety crippling her day after day. And a couple weeks later, we were in another session and she was talking to me and she was like, "I have this really weird feeling." She's like, "I don't know exactly how to describe it." We talked a little bit more and she discovered that what she was feeling was happiness for the first time in years. And one of her friends, the one that sent her my way, actually reached out to me and said, "Thank you so much, because my friend is happier than I have seen her in years and years and years." And that is a miracle that is important to share, that is important to talk about, because so many people live with anxiety. Maybe you right now are living with this deep level of anxiety that's crippling you, that is stopping all of it's kind of like a cloak that stops all of the things that are trying to work out for you from happening, because they can't get through that blanket of anxiety. Or maybe even if they do, you can't really feel that they're happening because the anxiety is still so present. And this woman in particular, when she said yes to doing this work that she knew she was called to, when she said, yes, I do think that things could be different from me if I have the right support, and she chose to get that support, it was a completely illogical decision to her to spend that money because she had been out of a job because of this anxiety. It was really her last straw, her last step, and yet she chose to be courageous, chose to listen to the calling of her soul to say, hey, go here. Things can be different, go here. And now this whole world of possibility is open to her that wasn't open before because she doesn't have this cloud of anxiety blocking everything from happening and unfolding for her in her world, blocking the happiness and the joy that she was really meant for. And now there is so much more available to her, so many possibilities because that has been removed. And I know for a lot of people, the reason I'm sharing this is a lot of people think that they're just going to have to live with anxiety. It's just the way that it is. And I'm sharing this woman's story with you to say that is not true. If you're dealing with anxiety right now, you do not have to live with it. It can absolutely be unwound and removed if you have the right tools, the right support, and you do it in the right order. And if she can experience it, someone who had just the tiniest bit of hope that it was possible, she can live without this anxiety and live with this newfound level of happiness, then you can too. And all it takes is that courageous first step, saying, hey, I need some help because I want this to change. I don't even think, maybe it's not possible for me, but on the small chance that it is, I want to reach out and say, I want a different experience. And if that's you, then I encourage you to follow in her footsteps, follow in her courage, and reach out for yourself so that we can see if doing work in soul sessions is the right move for you, so that we can get your anxiety to disappear into thin air too, because it doesn't have to be a reality. It doesn't have to be something that you continue to experience day after day. And on the other side of that anxiety is more possibility than you could possibly fathom right now. And you don't have to fathom it because that's our job to discover it together. I hope that hearing this courageous woman's story today inspired you to a new possibility, to believe that things can be different. They don't have to stay the same as they are right now. And if you'll reach out and follow the impulses to get the support that you need, not just any, but the right support, the right tools, you can have the breakthrough and the miracle that a little tiny part of you has been hoping is possible. So if that's you, I look forward to connecting with you and seeing what miracles we can create for you. If you're watching this and you found this encouraging, share it with others. Either share the video, comment below, and tag a friend, because it is important that people know that more is possible than they previously thought, so that they don't have to stay stuck where they are either. Thank you for being here, for listening, for sharing these miracles. And again, if that is you, if you have been experiencing anxiety or anything else that you feel like is keeping you stuck and you just don't know how to get out of it, shoot me a message. Let's connect and see what we can get moving for you in your world. You are amazing. May your week be blessed with so many miracles, and I will see you next Monday right here. Talk to you then.